All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving deep into a topic that's sure to hit all the right notes, especially if you're thinking about building or maybe even revamping a website for our music school.
Oh, and there's so many things to consider, right? You've got to make it look good, obviously, but it also has to be super functional and engaging.
Exactly. And luckily for us, we've got a fantastic resource to guide us through the process.
Oh, tell me more.
We've been poring over some advice from Site Design and Nowdeo, an Australian web design company based in, you guessed it, Logan.
Logan, of course, a hub for creativity.
You know it. Anyway, these folks really know their stuff, especially when it comes to designing websites for educational institutions, and that includes music schools.
I've heard good things about them. Their advice tends to be pretty practical, right?
It is, although, fair warning, they do circle around the same points a few times, so we've taken the liberty of distilling their wisdom down to the absolute essentials.
Love that. Efficiency is key.
You know it. Ready to dive in?
Hit me with it.
All right, so Site Design Now emphasizes 5 key features for a music school website, and they kick things off with something that seems pretty straightforward: comprehensive class offerings.
Yeah, that one seems like a no-brainer, right? You got to tell people what you teach.
Exactly. But I have a feeling there's more to it than just listing out every single class you offer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. You're not just selling classes, you're selling an experience.
Right. You're selling the dream of learning music and reaching your full potential.
Exactly. And Site Design Now suggests, instead of just kind of listing every single class, you should break down your offerings in a way that helps potential students quickly see if it's, the right fit for them.
That makes a lot of sense. So instead of just saying, guitar lessons, you might say something like beginner acoustic guitar in a small group setting, or advanced electric guitar one-on-one with a seasoned pro.
You got it. It's all about anticipating what your potential students might be looking for and then making it easy for them to find exactly what they need.
It's kind of like those filters you see on online shopping sites, right? They help you narrow down your options and, get to what you want faster.
Perfect analogy. You're respecting your potential students' time right from the get-go.
Showing them that you've put thought into creating a diverse range of learning experiences.
Exactly. All right, so what's the next feature on the list?
Okay, this one really piqued my interest. Detailed instructor bios.
Ah, yes. That's all about building trust, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. I mean, when I'm signing up for a class, I always want to know who's going to be teaching it.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's human nature. And you know what Site Design Now suggests?
Lay it on me.
They say you should include photos of your instructors, obviously their qualifications and experience, and here's the interesting part. Their teaching philosophy.
Now that last one, that really intrigues me. Why do you think teaching philosophy resonates so much with students?
I think it gives them a glimpse into the instructor's personality and approach. Are they super strict about technique, or are they more about fostering creativity and self-expression?
It helps students figure out if they did vibe with that teacher, right?
Exactly. It's like those about me sections you see on some websites,
Okay.
It makes you feel like you're actually getting to know the person behind the brand.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I once chose a pottery class solely based on the teacher's bio.
Really?
Huh?
What was so compelling about it?
It was just, I don't know, it's so warm and inviting. It made me feel like I could learn anything from this person.
There you go. Proof that a well-crafted bio can really make all the difference.
All right, so we've got detailed class offerings, we've got compelling instructor bios. What's next on our website checklist?
This one's a biggie, especially in today's world. Seamless online booking system.
Oh, don't even get me started on clunky booking systems. I have to jump through hoops to book a class. I'm out of there.
Totally agree. Convenience is everything these days.
And Site Design Now, what are they saying about this?
They're really hammering home the point that the booking process needs to be as smooth as possible.
Okay, so we're talking user-friendly interfaces, real-time availability updates, and automated confirmations.
You got it. And think about it from a competitive standpoint, too.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If you have a seamless booking system, you're already ahead of the game.
Exactly. It shows you value your students' time and that you're, running a professional operation.
It's like the difference between, I don't know, a well-oiled machine and a rusty old bicycle.
Perfect analogy. Okay, so we've talked about showcasing what you offer, introducing your instructors, and making it easy to book a class. Ready for feature number 4?
Get me.
This one's all about leveraging the power of social proof, engaging student testimonials.
Ooh, I love those. There's nothing more convincing than hearing from real people who have had positive experiences at your school, right?
Site Design Now is spot on when they talk about how those testimonials build trust, you know? When potential students see that others have had great experiences, they're more likely to choose your school.
It makes sense. So it's not just about, slapping a few generic quotes on your website. There's an art to presenting those testimonials effectively.
Absolutely. They suggest including authentic stories from students, highlighting specific achievements, and even pairing quotes with photos to, make it even more impactful.
It's about showing, not just telling, right? And it makes you wonder what kind of success stories would really resonate with our listeners' target audience, What kind of transformations are those potential students hoping for?
Such a good point. Those testimonials need to speak directly to the needs and aspirations of your ideal student.
Makes sense. All right, on to the last feature, and honestly, this one caught me a little off guard. Comprehensive music theory blog.
A blog? Really? I wouldn't have thought of that as a website essential.
Me neither, but Site Design Now makes a really compelling case for it.
Oh.
They're basically saying that a blog is a fantastic way to attract new visitors to your website and then position your school as an authority in the world of music education.
It's content marketing gold, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of content are they suggesting?
They recommend topics like learning tips, music theory concepts, and practice techniques, valuable stuff that students are actually looking for.
I see. So it's a win-win situation. Students get valuable resources, and the school gets more visibility and engagement.
And don't forget, it's also a great way to showcase the school's, unique teaching philosophy and personality.
Absolutely. Our listener needs to think about what kind of value their blog can bring to the table, What makes their school special?
Great question to ponder. So there you have it, folks. The 5 key features that Site Design Now recommends for creating a music school website that's both beautiful and effective.
It's a lot to take in, but don't worry. We'll be breaking down each of these features in more detail in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired to start building an awesome website for a music school.
Me too. And I'm really starting to see how all these features we talked about in the last part, they all fit together.
It's like piecing together a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Each piece plays a vital role in creating the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And now I'm ready to dig into the how. How do we actually bring those features to life on the website?
Okay, so in part 1, we talked about the what of those 5 key features. Now let's dive into the how.
Sounds good to me. Where should we start?
Let's start with those comprehensive class offerings. How do we make them really shine on the website? How do we present them in a way that's both informative and enticing?
Presentation and organization are key here. Think of your website as a virtual storefront. You want to invite people in and make them feel welcome, not overwhelm them with too much information all at once.
Okay, so no dumping all the classes into one giant list.
Yeah.
Got it. What would be a better way to structure this section?
Well, Site Design Now didn't really get too specific on this point, but I think categories and subcategories are a must-have.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You could have a main category for instruments and then subcategories for each instrument, guitar, piano, drums, and so on.
Exactly. And then within each subcategory, you could break it down even further by skill level or class format.
I like it. It's like creating a map for your website visitors so they can easily find their way to exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly. And speaking of making things visually appealing, don't forget about the power of imagery.
Ooh, yes. A picture's worth 1,000 words, or so they say.
For real, think about it. A vibrant photo of students jamming together or close-up of someone's hands on a piano, that can really draw people in.
It's like they can already imagine themselves taking that class and feeling the joy of making music.
Right? You got it. All right, so we've got those class offerings looking sharp. What about those detailed instructor bios? How do we make them really stand out?
That's a good one. I think we were both pretty excited about that feature in the last part.
Totally. It's all about building trust and connection.
Exactly. But how do we go beyond just listing qualifications and experience? How do we make those bios truly engaging?
This is where storytelling comes in. Instead of just presenting a dry list of facts, try weaving a narrative that captures the instructor's personality and passion,
I like that. So instead of just saying, John Smith holds a master's degree in music education,
you could say something like, John's lifelong love of music began with a hand-me-down guitar and a dream of playing like his heroes.
And then something like, now he's dedicated to sharing that passion with others, guiding students of all levels to find their own musical voice.
Yes. You've painted a picture, you know. You've given potential students a glimpse into who he is and what he values as a teacher.
It makes him relatable, right? Like someone you'd actually want to learn from.
Exactly. And hey, don't be afraid to add a little personality into those bios, too, like a funny anecdote or something that makes them more memorable.
Totally agree. All right, so we've covered class offerings and instructor bios. Now, on to the more technical side of things. That seamless online booking system.
Oh, yeah, I can't forget about that. That's a big one.
Any tips for making this process as smooth as a glissando?
Keep it simple. Think about your users. They're busy people, maybe parents trying to juggle a million things. They don't want to waste time figuring out a complicated booking system.
Tell me about it. I once spent like an eternity trying to book a doctor's appointment online. It was like navigating a maze. By the time I finally got it booked, I was so frustrated.
Been there. So keep the booking process on your music school website really straightforward. Clear labels, drop-down menus, and make sure you're only asking for essential information.
And of course, mobile optimization. We talked about that before, but it's worth repeating, right? Make sure that booking system works perfectly on any device.
Absolutely. Test it out on phones, tablets, laptops, everything. You don't want to lose potential students just because they can't book a class on their phone.
All right, so seamless booking system. Check. Now, what about those engaging student testimonials? I think we both agree that those can be super powerful.
Oh, yeah. Those are gold. But we need to make sure they're done right, not just some generic fluff.
Totally. So how do we make them really impactful? What are we looking for here?
Authenticity. Encourage your students to go beyond just saying, I love this school. Ask them to share specific examples of how the school has helped them grow, real stories that other people can connect with.
Right. So instead of a generic compliment, it's more like, before I came to this school, I was terrified to sing in front of anyone, but now I'm performing at the school's annual concert and loving it.
Exactly. Or something like, I used to struggle with music theory, but the teachers here explained it in a way that finally made sense to me, and now I'm writing my own songs.
Wow, that's amazing. Those are the kind of stories that make people go, wow, I want that for myself.
For sure. And don't forget about adding a visual element to those testimonials, too. A photo of the student performing or holding their first composition can really make a difference.
Okay, so we've covered class offerings, instructor bios, online booking, and testimonials. That leaves us with the comprehensive music theory blog, which, to be honest, I'm still wrapping my head around.
Me too, but I'm starting to see the potential.
I know, right? It's like, okay, content marketing, SEO, got it. But how often should we be posting on this blog? And what kind of topics should we be covering?
Well, Site Design Now didn't give us a super detailed guide to blogging, but I think consistency is key. Aim for at least one post per week, if you can.
Okay, that sounds doable. And what about topics?
Think about the questions your students are always asking you. Those are the kind of things people are searching for online.
Like, how do I practice more effectively? Or how do I overcome stage fright?
Exactly. And don't forget to sprinkle in some keywords that will help people find your blog through search engines.
Right. Keywords. Got it. So we've covered a ton of information in this part. We talked about how to present those class offerings, how to write compelling instructor bios, how to make the online booking process a breeze, how to showcase those powerful student testimonials, and how to create a music theory blog that people will actually want to read.
It's a lot, but it's all about creating a website that truly represents your music school and attracts the right students.
And don't worry, we're not done yet. In the next part, we'll be talking about the overall visual appeal of the website. How to make it look as good as it functions.
That's right. Get ready for a design deep dive.
Welcome back to your deep dive. We're in the home stretch now, and I'm really excited to tackle this last piece of the puzzle.
Me too. We've talked about all the essential features for a music school website, but there's one crucial element we haven't explored in depth yet.
You're talking about the overall look and feel of the website, right? The design aspect.
Exactly, because a website can have all the right features, but if it doesn't visually appeal to your target audience, it's not going to be as effective.
It's like that saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
So true. And in the online world, that first impression is all about design.
So where do we even begin? What are some of the key design principles to keep in mind when creating a website for a music school?
Well, first and foremost, you need to consider your target audience.
Right, because a website that's designed to appeal to, say, young children learning piano is going to look very different from a website for a school that specializes in, I don't know, heavy metal guitar.
Exactly. Your design choices, like the colors you use, the fonts, the imagery, it all needs to align with your target audience and the overall vibe of your school.
And what about functionality? We talked about this a bit before, but a website can be beautiful, but if it's difficult to use, people are going to get frustrated and leave.
Absolutely. Usability is key. Think about clear menus, intuitive navigation, maybe even breadcrumbs or a search bar to help people find what they're looking for quickly and easily.
And of course, we can't forget about mobile responsiveness. Our website needs to look amazing and work perfectly on any device.
No matter how someone is accessing it, right? Smartphones, tablets, laptops, you name it.
Exactly. So it sounds like we need to find that sweet spot between visual appeal, usability, and mobile responsiveness.
You got it. And when you get all those elements working together harmoniously, that's when you create a website that truly reflects the spirit of your music school and draws people in.
It's like creating a symphony of design, functionality, and content.
Beautifully said.
Well, this has been an incredible journey, hasn't it? Exploring all these essential features for a music school website.
It really has. Thanks to Site Design Now for providing such valuable insights, and to you for guiding us through this deep dive with such expertise.
My pleasure. And to you, our listener, we hope this deep dive has been helpful and inspiring. Remember, building a website is a journey, not a destination.
Don't be afraid to experiment, keep learning, and most importantly, have fun with it.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll be featuring your amazing music school website as a shining example on a future deep dive.
That would be fantastic.
Until then, keep those musical dreams alive, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into a topic that matters to you.